With the encouragement of some volunteers and teachers, we have created an alternative gameplay for the fifth session of the JA Economics for Success curriculum called Keeping Score. You can absolutely use the guidebook and do it as outlined, but this is an alternative option in case you're interested. What you would do is you would use the introduction talking points as outlined in the guidebook on page 36, talking about what a good credit score is, and then you can jump to the bottom of page 37 and talk about the bullet point of how does a credit score work. Then we would encourage you to wait on the rest of the introductory talking points until the actual gameplay, and we'll show you how that folds out in just a moment. What we would encourage you to do is to keep this activity as a whole group class and create a game show atmosphere. So split your students into groups, anywhere from 5 to 8 groups, depending upon how many students you have. What's going to happen is that each group is going to have the opportunity to answer a scenario question. So the only thing you need for this is your guidebook, as well as one set of the scenario cards split apart. So grab one color and take out just the scenario cards from that group. Then what you're going to do is you are going to create a game show in which you are going to ask a group of students a question. They're going to have the chance to respond, and then the rest of the groups are going to have the opportunity to steal if they think that group had the incorrect answer. So for example, you would go to the first group and you would use one of the scenario cards and you'd simply say, you have opened a savings account. Do you think that's going to increase your score or decrease your score? They're going to answer, I think it's going to increase it. Then you're going to just pause for 3 seconds, allow any of the other groups to try to steal if they think that was the incorrect answer, and then you're going to move on to the next one. So if they think they want to challenge it and they want to try to steal, they have 3 seconds to do it. The great thing about that is that it's going to keep all the students, every group engaged and paying attention, even if it's not their turn specifically. Then you would move on to the next group. So the second group of students, you'd ask another question. You pay your cell phone bill on time every month. Do you think that's going to increase it or decrease it? They're going to answer. You're going to pause for 3 seconds, allow somebody to challenge or steal if they think they got it incorrect, and then you're going to move on. You can record the points on the board. You might want to ask your classroom teacher to help you with that just to expedite time. Now, the other thing that we'd encourage you to do is to pull out of this scenario group a set of specific situations that are going to help lead into the content of the remaining talking points of the introduction. So there are lots of different options when you look at the scenarios. We've outlined examples in the teaching tips, and I'm going to give them to you here quickly as well. So for example, you can ask the question, you have worked at the same company a long time. Do you think that's going to increase it or decrease it? Allow the students to answer, and then you can just naturally fold in a question, why do you think that would matter? Give them an opportunity to answer, and then just say, well, did you know? And use the talking point found on page 37 that talks about why credit scores matter so much is because there's lots of different facets to it, but one of which is what is collected in order to get your score. So for example, it says that information collected includes your bank account, your employment and residential history, as well as a record of whether you pay your bills on time. So this scenario said you have worked at the same company a long time. That's important because your employment history is one of the elements that that they're looking at in your credit score. So what I did is I just pulled this out and I wrote that talking point right on the top of it so that even if they get shuffled up, I can know that, oh, when I get to that card, that's the point I'm going to try to reiterate to the students. The next one would be you apply for an apartment. The management checks your credit and finds that you have a good score. You let them answer, you let them challenge to steal, and then you say again, why do you think that would matter? Well, did you know that your credit ratings are looked at by lenders, property owners, insurance companies, telephone and utility companies? It's a lot more than just, what they might seemingly think of financial institutions. And so again, that's the second bullet point on page 37 under the why does a credit score matter. Then, if you'll notice on page 38, this outlines the 5 different key factors in the formula of how it all gets factored together. So again, there's lots of options throughout the scenarios, but some of them specifically could be you pay your mortgage 35 days late. Do you think that's going to go up or down? Well, why does that matter? Well, as we know, the first bullet point says payment history, paying your bills on time, is 35% of your credit score. So again, I just wrote payment history 35% on this card, so no matter where it is in the shuffle of the pile, I know when I get to that card, that's what I'm going to emphasize. Another great one, you max out all your credit cards, but you get an extra part-time job to pay them down. Now, you're only using 30% of your available credit. This scenario goes on to say, roll your die to see how much your score was repaired. You would want to just skip that in this scenario, cross it off. But you would say, would that increase it? Would it decrease it? And again, why does it matter? Well, the second bullet point says it matters how much credit you have compared to how much you've used is 30% of your score. So again, you can use that as a talking point. Your credit card account has been open, active, and paid on time each month for 5 years. It links to the third one, account age and activity, which is 15%. During the holidays, several stores offer discounts for opening credit accounts. You open 4 new accounts, each requiring a credit inquiry. That one connects to 4, which is credit inquiries equals 10% of your score. And then finally, you could use the one that says you owe a lot of money, but almost all of it is for your home mortgage. You're building an equity. And again, you'd want to cross off that last little portion, you're building an equity, because they'll know that it's positive. And just leave that part off. But again, that one connects to number 5, types of credit, which is 10%. This is going to allow you the opportunity throughout the game to add in your personal life experience, to add in your own teaching tips, to get them to think about why it's going up or down, instead of just simply getting that answer that they see that it's an add 2 points or a subtract 2 points and just kind of by chance getting the game as originally outlined. Feel free to, adapt that as you want, but that is just an opportunity for you to make it a game so that the initial conversation isn't so heavy in the beginning with the introduction, and the students will hopefully be more engaged and enjoy the activity. Have fun!